good morning. Welcome to my fifth and final episode of my early morning live streams that I'm doing to promote and talk about my daily Patreon chapter drops, which happen at 6:15 a.m. So in today's video, I have a few topics in mind. As usual, I'm going to just quickly list off what I'm going to talk about and get into a summary of my work in progress, and then we will get into the main subject of this video. In today's video, I will be reading a chapter sample from a different book than yesterday. Good morning, Miles Marianne. Thank you for joining the live so bright and early. And after I get through reading that, we'll talk a little bit more about the book I'm featuring in today's video and then what's coming up in the future. As today is the last day of the month, this is when I transition from one 99-cent discount to another one. So we will talk about that at the end of the video. So for right now, let's talk about my work in progress, what is going on with all of what I'm writing. So first of all, Scorpio King is at 25K and counting now. It seems like every time I change it and post an updated version to my patrons that I go and I update it again. So hopefully the most recent updated versions that I've posted are where the story is finally going to be, but the story is still growing and I'm still fleshing out a lot of the scenes. Hi, it's Polly B and Cecilia Williams 79. Thanks for joining this morning. So that is where Scorpio King is. The story is done, but it's being fleshed out. Hi, Jessie Poo 18. Thanks for joining. The Dirty Contract is complete. The nail is on the coffin. That book is up. You can pre-order it now. There are not going to be any more changes to it. I don't even know if I'm going to post it on Patreon. If I do post it on Patreon, it's going to be like alongside other things because I just realized I have a lot of like brand new exciting stuff coming to Patreon, and by the time I get around to posting that, the book might already be out, and so I don't see the point in, a lot of the patrons will probably buy it, and I don't, I rather just give them something new than like fake give them something new. So I don't know if I'll post it to Patreon. I may or may not. Then Long Island Butcher, that is book 2 in the Long Island Mafia romance series. I added some new things to the first scene. John and Alexis, I'm working on their chemistry. This is kind of like how the sausage is made part that I don't like to get into too much. But oftentimes when I first start off, I'll have like my idea of what their chemistry is going to be in my head. Step 2, I'll write it and it won't quite be where I need it to be. And then step 3, I go back in and I try to just push the chemistry all the way up to the ceiling between them. And so that's kind of where I'm at with Long Island Butcher. But the story just started, so I don't expect it to be perfect yet. And I'm definitely not ready to share it on Patreon. It's going to be like halfway to the end of October, somewhere in that timeline when that book even becomes available to patrons. So just some news on that. And of course, I'm making some changes on Long Island Executioner because that book comes out October 27th and I'm finished with it. And so it's in editing and whatnot. So before I get into the main topic of this video, I had some people who are paranormal romance fans. And if you're not watching this live and watching this afterwards, pay close attention and don't forget to leave a comment. I have been working on, for personal, professional reasons, this book, which is called 500 Writing Romance Prompts Workbook by Erica Blumenthal. And so I kind of do this to flex my little writing muscles. And with each one, it has like these little prompts. They're all different, and some space to write them. Now, I kind of started doing this book and realized that like the first 50 are all paranormal themed. So I have like written like short little romantic scenes. And if anyone interested in paranormal romance wanted, I could just post these for free on my blog, and you could tell me if you think, you want me to flesh out the story more, or if you like them. And it's just something that I'm doing anyways, that if you want, I can post it on my blog so you can read these little paranormal romance, like really short stories. So let me know if that's something you're interested in. If you are into paranormal romance, comment either in the live or after the video, or you can send me a DM and I will try to see how people feel about that. I can also read some of them out loud on the live. Ooh, thank you, it's Polly B. She says, yes, please. That is Miles Marianne. I love your paranormal. So thank you. So I think I will start doing that. I'll just post the little paragraphs that I'm writing for free on the blog. And then maybe on the weekend live streams, I'll come and read some of them. And that'll give me more motivation to write more of them because they aren't super long, but it's kind of like little teasers and maybe there's a good story somewhere. Good morning, Jonathan Myhills 954. Thank you for joining today. So that's cool. I just wanted to get that out of the way and then to talk about today's book that I'm going to deep dive in. And there's no paperback version of this book because it is Terran, Taurus King. And this book is an ebook only one. Why is it ebook only? Because it is a short story. It is kind of a novella, I would say, around 20K. And this book will only be available on paperback after all 12 books come out. Hi, Sue Louise 3. Thank you for joining this morning. So basically, Terran King is what we are going to focus on talking about today. I am going to also read the first chapter of the book on our stream this morning. And then at some point towards the end of the stream, we're going to circle back to Patreon instead of getting to Patreon in the beginning as I've done in other streams. So before I get into this book, I wanted to just talk, because I know readers ask me stuff like this all the time, about my inspiration for this series and this book. I really wanted to do a small town romance series, so this is definitely why I say it's my passion project. This is something I've just added on to my already lots of writing that I just wanted to do. I wanted to think of a good theme that could give me a long series, and I saw the zodiac. Now, I actually wanted to write a zodiac series a couple years back, but at that time, another bwwm author, Tiana Levine, I'm sure you've read her series or at least heard of her, she was putting out Mr. Scorpio, she was putting out all these zodiac books. And even if kind of independently I wanted to put out my own books, I kind of thought, you know what, I don't really want to try to take away from someone putting out their idea. I can wait and do my idea later. You don't want to, I don't know. I'm just a type of person when just because I see someone doing something, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to run out and go to try to copy them and like jack their swag or anything like that. I don't know. I probably sound super dated saying that, but so I just kind of thought, okay, let her series come out. And then when it's my time, it's my time. And so I waited to about the zodiac thing and wanting to do the small town romance, I thought, what if I combined them? Now, lately, the past couple of years, as you know, everything I've been publishing has been on the darker side. It's been a little more twisted. That's what readers connect with more. So I made them kind of all have a darker theme. And so if I do a different series after this, that is when I may do a paranormal series that's similar to this. But I only have 3 of the books basically written for this, so we have a long way to go. So a little more about this story. This is Terran and Viola's story, and I might as well just read the description to you, and then we can get into the sample, the little chapter sample right away. So, a vicious winter storm sends Viola careening into the arms of a gruff, lonely farmer in an isolated small town. Terran hasn't felt the touch of a woman in years. He prefers to live alone. Most women can't handle him. He's too gruff, too stubborn, too bullheaded. When vulnerable Viola lands in his lap, his lust takes a dark turn. Every moment with her, Terran fights his desire to take what he wants without asking. With only one bed to share and a brutal winter storm, all Terran can promise Viola is a long, hard night. So that is our description. That is the book. That basically gets to the premise of the book. We have Terran, we have Viola, there's a snowstorm, they come together. My favorite side character in the book is the dog. I have been recently fighting the urge to spontaneously get a dog. So in this series, every book is going to have a pet dog based on what dog I think fits the main character and also what dogs I'm currently obsessed with at the time of writing the book. So without, further ado, I'm going to get into reading Chapter 1, and it may be a little long. I think it's only 4 pages on my iPad, so maybe not, but this may be a few minutes, so if you're interested in sitting and hanging out and listening, I'm just going to read that first chapter, and we'll get into wrapping up and talking about other things in the video. So I'm going to just have a quick drink of water here because Reading when your mouth is dry is just the worst. So I have this giant water bottle actually that has a Jamila Jasper sticker. You can get these on Redbubble. It has a lot of other stickers too, but that's the one most relevant to the video. Okay, so Terran, Taurus King, and I am not great at doing guy voices, but I am the author, so I will try to read the book in the way I intended it to sound. Chapter 1, Terran. When it snows like this, I miss chewing tobacco. I miss having something to do other than waiting for the heavy snow to pass so I can head out to my sister's house and clear her driveway with the truck. With this much snow coming down, I won't be able to get downtown until tomorrow morning. I prefer the quiet country to downtown anyway, even if it's just one tiny main street. There's still too much traffic, too much noise. A man don't need much out here to keep himself happy. Guns, land to hunt on, a big dog for companionship, and a few trips into town for groceries. That's it. Companionship. I reckon having a woman out here would make a difference, but in Preble, your choices for women are limited, and I've fucked up with all the women in my life. No, it's better to be alone than to have a woman up in your house, hollering about this and that, wondering why there's a shotgun hole through your couch, or why do you have so many empty whiskey bottles under the sink, or why don't you do this and that? Women. An itch I haven't scratched in a long time. The wind whips around my house, rattling the windows and getting Rogue off the couch. He tips his nose up and howls a little. He don't like snowstorms much. Come here, boy. Ooh! It's my hound howl. He presses his nose to the ground and follows some scent towards the door. What the hell, Rogue? I grumble and shuffle from the kitchen to the front door. You want to go out in this weather, stumble through a foot of snow for what, some fucking squirrel? Rogue cocks his head and gives me those damned pleading eyes that make me so weak. Don't expect me to head out there with you. Ow! He scratches at the door again. Fine. If I don't let him out, he'll just keep scratching and raising hell up in the house. He needs action, and to be honest, so do I. Let me get my shit together. I've been alone too long. 90% of my conversations are with the damn dog. Haley, my twice-divorced sister, thinks I need a woman in my life. Agree to disagree. All the men Haley ends up with run for the hills anyway. What do either of us know about love? I'm tired of wasting my time on one-night stands, chicks I meet who warm my bed for a while but don't grab my attention. They're all the same, and none of them worth much of my time. My sister says... Sorry, I'm waving to someone. My sister says I'm a cocky fuck and I deserve to die alone. She says I'm the problem. Me? Can't be the case. I've had many women in my bed. I've given them all a chance. Thin ones, fat ones, brunettes, blondes, all the options out here in Preble who ain't family, which ain't many in the first place. I get my flannel on and my well-worn work boots. Maybe she's right. Maybe I will die alone. At least I'll have my dog and my land and peace of mind. I'd rather have my peace of mind than a woman, except on nights like this one. Rogue doesn't need a leash to stay close. He's a good boy, normally. Tonight, once I open the door, my hellhound sprints out, following his nose. God damn it. Rogue! Rogue, if you don't get your ass back here. I swear to fuck. There's about a foot of snow out there, and deeper as you get closer to the road, which is right where Rogue seems to be following his damn nose. I chase after him, yelling his name, but nothing can get him off the scent once he has it. Once the damn dog hits the road, he stops near the guardrails. I still have a few hundred yards to catch up to his ass. Rogue, sit! He sits and pants at me excitedly. What the hell brings him all the way up here on the highway? Shouldn't be anyone or anything heading up the roads out here in this type of weather. We don't get many people from out of town. Maybe it's a drunk or high teenager. As I close in on Rogue, he barks twice and sprints down the small state highway. Fuck, what has he got up there, a fox? I ain't in bad shape or anything, but I didn't expect to trudge through so much damn snow to get the dog back. He's stubborn as hell, and a few hundred yards off when I make it to the highway. And in the distance, a few hundred yards off him, I see something else. Rogue! He rushes toward the distant object. It looks like a car, but there aren't any lights on or anything. The hood's crushed against the guardrail, and there's already a couple inches of snow in the tire tracks, so I can't tell what's going on. Shit. Could be someone out there needs help. With less snow on the road than on my land up to the highway, I can finally move faster. I shake the snow off my boots and run towards the car and my dog, hoping it ain't some dumb high schoolers getting busy in the storm or something. You never know out here. Once I close in on Rogue, I can clearly see the silver Toyota Camry with its lights off and the marks in the middle of the road. Rogue rushes over to the driver's side and puts his paws up on the window, barking himself to death. I'm coming, Rogue. Nearly out of breath, I trudge to the driver's side. There's a woman in there, and she don't look so good. No airbags or anything, just her pretty head slumped against the steering wheel. Fuck. Rogue turns to me with a proud look in his eye. I scratch his ears and call him a good boy before I tap on the window. The engine is off, and the woman appears to be unconscious. Maybe dead. I tap on the window again, and I swear I hear a groan. I try the door handle, but it's frozen shut, which means the woman in the front seat might have been there a long time. Dead. She's definitely dead. I yank the handle again with more force, and it's her lucky fucking day because the door swings open. She's got a cut on her head, and yes, she has a pulse. I still need to call 911 for her, but I can't leave her out here. I touch her shoulder cautiously. Ma'am? She doesn't reply. Fuck. I don't have time to get her consent. I need to get her warm. It's 20 degrees out and she ain't from around here, clearly. Rogue barks excitedly as I undo her seatbelt and reach around to grab her by the waist. You don't get women her color out here too often. Her skin is dark brown like a roasted almond, and I catch the strong lavender scent of her hair as I lift her out of the car and put her over my shoulder. She's thick, a little heavy, but not heavier than a 300-pound bale of hay, so still light work to swing her over my shoulders. She must have crashed her car in the storm. A pretty thing like that? I couldn't leave her out there alone. Don't worry, ma'am. I'll look after you. And that is chapter 1. So Taurus King gets more intense and dark going on, but I thought you might like hearing a chapter from the book. And I know I said that I was not going to do this halfway through, but as it turns out, we do have time to look at what's new on Patreon. So I'm going to see if I can get a look at what I just posted today. And that should have gone live a few seconds ago. So as we can see here, just now updated, I posted on Patreon today, Adrian Scorpio King, chapter 2. So that is also updated heavily from the last version I posted. And as you can see, it is pretty long. So if you are on the Patreon, a new chapter just dropped. Oops, some secret Patreon stuff. And if you are not on the Patreon yet, you can sign up www.patreon.com/Jamila Jasper, and the link is in my bio. So that was today's chapter drop. It's more about Scorpio King. I don't want to talk too much more about Scorpio King today because we are going to go back to Terran King, which I just read from. And so hi to everyone who joined that I haven't said hello to yet. Sue Louise 3, Sarah Tima, Nisa Stewart 14, and LJC Barbie. Thank you for watching today's video. So having read that bit of Terran King, and again, knowing that readers sometimes ask me these types of questions, I wanted to do a little deep dive into some of my setting inspiration and other inspirations for the book so everyone could know where it all came from. So the setting inspiration is, I live in a small town. I live in central New York. Again, this is kind of the perfect place to be right now to research small town romance. Why am I here? Personal reasons. I like living in a rural area though, because as a writer, it definitely gives me that quiet and peace of mind. And it definitely gives me a lot of opportunity to research small town romance if I want to write it. So this series, the setting is very loosely based on areas near where I live, and they are also, I'm also trying to capture that central New York aesthetic. Hi, Coach Carol. So one of my favorite writers who doesn't write romance, but I grew up kind of always enjoying their books, was Stephen King. And one of the things I like about Stephen King is that he always writes about Maine, the area where he's from, and he writes about those parts of America that he knows super well, where he's from, and he gets into the setting very deeply, to the point where if you live in a small town, like anything in a Stephen King book, you will feel very connected to the story that he's writing because he's so good at those descriptions. So in terms of why I pick certain settings, I would definitely say Stephen King is a lot of my inspiration for how to get into the vibe of a small town. And I think I did this more in Terran than in Cyrus. And I'll do a video about Cyrus, but it's one of those we're gonna need more wine type of videos. and I will not be drinking wine on camera ever, but it's that type of video. So I'll postpone that for the time being. But that is the main inspiration. And of course, this area is very cold. There is lake effect. If you've heard of Rochester, New York, you'll know that it's an area known for a lot of snow. So this is that type of area. And so I really wanted to do a snowstorm romance, a one-bed romance. And then we have our main character, our Taurus King. What inspired Terran, the Taurus King? Have you ever met a Taurus man? I want to start here. If you even believe in astrology, like just casually, like, or just, think it's fun and entertaining, I would say I definitely think it's fun and entertaining, and maybe there's some truth to it, but I am no expert on this stuff. But I definitely, if I have to believe in it, I have to say there's a certain type of stubbornness and a little bit of savagery sometimes to the Taurus man. And that was a lot of the vibe I tried to go for with Terran. I also wanted to make him earthy because he's an earth sign. And what is an earthy person in a rural area like this? I think he's hunting, he's fishing, he's mudding, he's doing all these country boy things. He's got a truck, he's got a dog. I think that a lot of the kind of small town dude archetypes that's common around here are like they're giving, strong, silent. They don't say much. They keep to themselves. They like to be outside. So Terran, I was going for that gruff rural alpha. He's wearing his flannels. He's eating his venison. He's drinking his Coors Light. He's supporting the Bills on television. Like this is the life he leads. At the time when I wrote this book, because he was a hunter, I wanted to give Terran a hunting dog. And at the time, I really like hound dogs. And so Terran's dog is a bloodhound, and he is the cutest character in the book, in my opinion. So about the sex scenes. This is a book, I didn't get into it, but this is a book where it has that one bed trope. I mentioned in this chapter that Terran doesn't want women asking him why there's why someone blew a shotgun through his couch. This will be answered later, and also this is the reason why Terran only has one bed, which he and Viola will have to share. After having a few drinky drinks, Terran loses his ability to control himself because Viola is fine, and he has not interacted with a woman, much less a woman of flavor and spice and sass and voluptuousness, in a long time. So that gets a little dark, a little alpha, a little bit we've been drinking. So if that's the type of sex scene you want, you're gonna get that one bed snowstorm trope. Honestly, half the reason why I picked this to read today is that even if it's Taurus and I put it out in May, which I promise you was extremely cold where I lived, I thought, you know what? It's starting to get chilly again. It's time for us to get booed up with the book boyfriend of the winter, and that is Terran. So this book had some dark romance themes, don't get me wrong. There is foul language. Honestly, when I try to write these guys, I try to be accurate. And I don't know if you've heard some of the things that come out of people's mouths, but I am the type of person where people say a lot of things to me because I just sit back and listen and let them talk. And sometimes I put these things that I hear in the wild into books, and people are like, no, this is wrong. This is morally wrong. And I'm like, well, I hate to break it to you. Sometimes people that you're cool with drop some stuff and you're like, whoa, where did you get this from? Why are you acting like this? Is this a racism? What's going on? And sometimes it does happen in real life. If you don't like how I portray it, that's cool. We all got our tastes, but I do try and portray things realistically, especially in dark romance. I feel like a morally gray character is medium dark compared to some of the dark romance that I have read, where the characters are like, oh, you're like straight up demented. So I think honestly a morally gray character is not that dark, but if you are offended by that type of stuff, this ain't the book for you. So that is Terran King for today. So I'm not actually sure how much time I have left here. Okay. So I've got some time. I almost accidentally just started playing Itty Bitty Piggy by Nicki Minaj, so I'm glad that I didn't click the wrong thing. So let's talk about something everyone loves, which is discounts. What about discounts? Okay, Today is the last day to get Pretty Little Monster for 99 cents. Every time I hop on this live stream, I say this, I'm never reducing the price. Again, reiterating that. And hi to Yehekino. Thanks for joining. If you want to get that book, it's linked in my bio, or you can go to smarturl.it/Pretty Little Monster. You can, type it in, jot it down, whatever you need to do, or you can just search Pretty Little Monster Jamila Jasper. And it's 99 cents today. It's also free in Kindle Unlimited. So just something to take note of. And tomorrow there is going to be a new book discounted at 99 cents. If you are on my text notification team, you'll get a text at 7 p.m., 7:30. If you are part of my mailing list, you'll see it in the emails starting from tomorrow. And if you are here now wanting a preview of what is going to be 99 cents next month, my hint is that it is a small town romance, but not a part of the series we discussed in today's video. So that is my hint, which hopefully is hinty enough. You can guess in the comments if you want, and maybe I will leave even more hints if there are any guesses at all. So those are the main subjects I wanted to get to in this video. There are 2 live streams I was going to do this weekend. Tomorrow's live stream is going to be at 11 a.m., but I'm going to have to move Sunday's live stream to a later point in time, which I will announce heavily everywhere because I am going to an apple orchard and I cannot go to the apple orchard and live stream at the same time because my brain will implode. So I need to figure that out, but I want to come on for like an hour and do longer live streams over the weekend so that we can chat about books some more. I have so many books out and so many different topics that you guys asked me about that I could just talk about that I think you would find interesting. And I could answer some of those, those tons of questions I get on email that I never seem to have the time to answer. I can just answer everybody in one big video. So what did we talk about today? I gave an update on my work in progress. We talked about the Zodiac romance series, and we have Terran, Taurus King out now. This is a really hot book. It's $2.99, free in Kindle Unlimited. There are 2 books out in the series and a 3rd coming on November 9th. So be sure to check this series out. It's definitely on the erotic romance side of things more than the pure romance. These are fast burn, okay? The burn is immediate. We are being burned with the lust throughout these books. So that was another thing. And then discounts. Discount ending today for one book, new discount coming for another book. And then we also talked about this, which is the paranormal romance prompts. I will have more announcements about this, and most likely I will read one or several of these aloud in my weekend videos. And if you want to see that, stay tuned. So tomorrow I will see you at 11 a.m. and I will make further announcements about my live stream on Sunday because I'm going to experience life instead of writing about it and go to an apple orchard. So if you were here and watched this video today, thank you so much. Leave a comment on anything you feel like in the video, any questions, ideas for future live streams, definitely questions. I will answer every question. So try to put your questions down there if you can and you're watching this after the fact. Don't forget to check out the discounts, and I will see you in my video tomorrow at 11 a.m. Bye.
She be calling on a Monday, wanna meet on Tuesday, asking me to fix me up real nice. She can wait until the weekend, she wants off the deep end, telling me to bring the stuff I like. I don't wanna let her down, so